Lance, welcome.
Hi, everybody. I'm not sure what's going to come out of my mouth, but I just wanted to share or speak. Um, you posted something really beautiful in the group. Um, and it was just something about the resolution of not being the body and kind of looking away from the body in the world. And I think with events that have been happening, there's just so much horror and so much suffering. Um, and it's so shocking. And at the same time, there's a part of me that knows that that's always happening in this world, that it's more of the same. And so I just want to, I had a couple of days where I was just feeling a lot of dread and a lot of terror. And I felt like, yeah, well, of course, because you watched the news and you heard these people's stories, and I won't go into them now, but just horrible, horrible stories and images. And so I don't know. Like I said, I don't, I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth, but I just wanted to to bring that up and see if you had any reflections. And my resolve is that the only war that I can end is the war inside myself, and I I have some faith that they're connected, and I wouldn't share that with a lot of people. I wouldn't share that on Facebook necessarily, right? Um, so I just wanted to bring that up and point to that and see if you had some reflections.
Yeah, thank you, Lance. Thank you. And I'm grateful to Lance for raising this, what he's raised. I'm assuming he's referring to what's happened between Israel and Gaza, Hamas, last week, less than a week ago, last Saturday, 5 days ago. And I often don't look at the pictures and the videos of these sorts of things because they're usually ghastly, they're usually horrible. But this weekend, I decided I had that curiosity thing where it's going to be awful, but then there's a part of you that's curious and wants to see. And so I just decided to look at a lot of these videos and things, and they were really not very nice at all. And I don't encourage people to look at these things unless they really want to. There is I was going to say a perverse part of ourselves that wants to see these things. It's not actually perverse. There's a reason. If you have that instinct in you sometimes, that desire to look at something that's horrific, there's a reason why. It's a protection mechanism. We want to see the horror so we don't have to go through it, so we know what can happen to us. So it's actually a form of intelligence. But it's not normally something that you're proud of doing. So I went down that route as well, and these images stuck in my mind, and I found them very disturbing. And the horrors that have happened, again, found very disturbing. And it made me feel sick, made me feel nauseated, sick, sickened, literally. And as Lance said, these sorts of things happen in the world. They're probably happening all the time. Maybe not on that scale, but these sorts of disgusting, inhumane acts are happening. probably daily, in somewhere in the world. These sorts of things are happening to someone. This is the reality of Maya. This is what Maya is like. This is an aspect of Maya. It's not pretty. It's not pretty. Now, if you're an activist, if you have these sorts of desires, then you can go forth into the world and make your difference. But not everybody is like that. You may find instead of being an activist, you are a seeker of liberation. If you are a seeker of liberation, generally speaking, there are going to be exceptions, perhaps. Best thing is to do is to stay out of these things, turn within, abide as the self. You may have no choice but to be involved in these things, perhaps. In which case, be involved. Do what you need to do. I'm not actually saying don't be involved or do be involved. I'm saying whatever you have to do whatever you have to do. But if you're interested in liberation, turn towards the self. This is the ultimate solution, the fundamental solution. Maya is a bit like a sine wave. A sine wave is a curve that goes up and down and back up to the baseline again. It's like an S turned on its side like this. It's gone up and a down, sine wave. And there are ups and there are downs in Maya. There's always an up and a down. There's always the good and the bad. And the damn right ugly, of course, as well. The beautiful and the ugly. And you may be able to stop this atrocity and that atrocity, and that's great if you have managed to stop negative things. But there's always going to be another one that's going to happen. Same with the good things too. The solution ultimately is self-inquiry. All this is self-created. All this Maya, self-created, ego-created. It's a proliferation of the I thought. It is not real. It is there from a spiritual point of view, again, I wouldn't say this in a non-spiritual context. So from a spiritual point of view, the purpose of Maya is to help you turn away from Maya. In Michael Langford's book, The Most Direct Means to Eternal Bliss, he recommends that we contemplate all these wars and all these horrible things that happen to people every day, every month, every year, every century, and then realize to end these. Well, first he says all of these problems are caused by the ego, your ego. And the solution is to destroy your ego. And how to destroy your ego, which is the source of all these problems, is by discovering what you truly are. That is self-inquiry. Through self-inquiry. And what is a great aid, maybe the greatest aid to self-inquiry? Bhagavan's grace. So, loving Bhagavan, surrendering yourself to him and turning within, this is the solution to all wars. This is the war to end all wars. It's the inner war. The outer wars to end all wars, they've never worked. What was the war to end? What did they say was the war to end all wars? Was that World War One or two? One? Ah, see, I think it was World War One, wasn't it? Is that right? The war to end all wars, World War One. That was over 100 years ago now. Unfortunately, 5 days ago, we've got a new war breaking out. It's tragic. I feel for everybody who's suffered because of this. My heart goes out to everyone who's suffering because of this. Unfortunately, this is the way of Maya. On a global scale, on an international scale, on a national scale, on a local scale, on an individual scale, on a personal scale, all these different scales, macro to the micro, there is suffering, there is conflict. It ain't pretty. Don't be fooled by the glitter, the gold, the sheen, and the shine of Maya, the superficiality of it all. Maya is a lie. She's essentially a liar. She lies. She'll make you feel all hope has lost. She'll make you feel bereft. When actually, all there is love. You have to discover it within yourself. And in that love, there is no Maya. There is no body, no mind, no world, no appearance. Just spirit. Just the Father, God, the I am. Just Jesus. Just Bhagavan, Ramana. Just yourself. So, from a spiritual point of view, we can see all terrible things that happen in the world, in Maya, whilst we don't want them to happen, whilst our heart goes out to any victims and anyone hurt by these things. From a spiritual point of view, as an individual on a path, a spiritual journey, we can see these things as motivations for us to turn away from Maya towards the self. That's the way I'd encourage you to see it. Spurring us onwards for our singular goal of self-realization, also known as merging, becoming one with Bhagavan Ramana, our beloved Guru. Let us have some silence, and I haven't forgotten you, Allah will come to you at some point. Let's have some silence.